COVID-19, eh? It's all a little bit bizarre. Essentially, the world has come to a bit of a standstill. Nobody's really sure what to do, what's happening. There's a lot of worry going around, and I don't think it's necessarily directly from catching it, especially sort of those that aren't elderly or high risk. I think it's more of the financial situation we find ourselves in, the the security that has now been removed from us, and everything's a bit uncertain from housing situations to just that flow of money and also that ability to fall back on it. Essentially, money does make the world go around. And I know people disagree with that, but it really does. And so we now find ourselves in a perilous situation of how do we keep functioning now that this is being removed and we find ourselves without money? How do we cope with rent? How do we cope with other opportunities that may have arisen, such as new jobs, new prospects? All of this has now been postponed and there's a lot of uncertainty. I personally know I'm a bit uncertain of the future. It's not necessarily the implications of where we're going to be in a few weeks. It's more, where do we find ourselves in 2 months? Where do we find ourselves in 6 months? I'm sure we'll be in a global recession, and then more directly, I believe, who knows where I'll be? Who knows where anyone will be? We will cross that bridge when we come to it, as that's my way of trying to stay positive, I guess. And so it's weird to think that people are still perceiving this as just a stronger strain of the flu. I think now that we're seeing perfectly healthy 18, 19-year-olds dying from this pandemic, that people are hopefully taking it a bit seriously now, hopefully are going to be staying indoors and, only going out for essentials. It's interesting watching the world go by and reacting to this. I was walking along Albert Dock back from the little shop, and it was just filled with people walking, jogging, talking, all in clusters. So I think it's quite interesting, really, that despite these orders, that people seem to be going out more now than what they were before, which, seems counterproductive to say the least. And then we also have this odd sort of a situation where we now find ourselves constantly at home, and the hours in which we, normally spend at work fill a void. As much as we may complain about it, we now come home and find ourselves, what do we do in this time? Moan about work, usually. I found myself writing a lot more. I am going back to focusing on what I enjoy. I like to create. I like to write, paint, draw, listen to music. So I'm still doing all of those things. Of course, I'd rather be at work. It gives yourself structure. Feels like you're doing something with the day. It's productive. It means you're not, stewing in your own mind and milling about the place, trying to kill time just to go back to sleep. So yeah, very odd. I haven't started selling new hobbies, which people are saying, I've started this, I've started that. For me, I've just dedicated time back to what I actually enjoy, which is the aforementioned. I do find myself, however, starting to record a bit more, in the terms of doing little audiobooks, little audio projects, and as I say, gone back to writing again, writing about music. So yeah, all very bizarre. So at the moment, staying afloat, keeping going, and we'll see what happens.